Welcome to the Alexandra Madison Weddings series for vlogging. Today we are going to go ahead and show you how to build a flower crown in home. So again, we're not florists necessarily in the field, but we dabble here and there with being able to put together some really beautiful things for the home, or in this case, we're doing a styled maternity session. So this was a great way for us to kind of make something fun and add that greens and florals in. So I'm gonna show you some of the pieces that we have today. So, we have our scissors here to kind of snip up until that 2 to 3 inches with the stem, which is really great. We also have some green floral wire. So this you can buy at Michael's, you can order on Amazon. It kind of bends and is super kind of durable. It also twists really nicely. So you can see it's twisting on my finger like that. So this is a great way to create that base. Again, we're doing more of a home instead of a professional way. So I'm gonna kind of show you a little bit trick. So most of the time you will see that you will need some green floral tape. In this case, we didn't have any in the office. So today I'm going to be using some good, trusty, clear duct tape. So what I've done is I have taken our floral wire and kind of measured the head. And I went ahead and did like 2 extra layers of that so that we could have enough space in case we had to let it loose. So here's a good base. So you can see kind of in here, I have my floral wire. And then the next piece for this, you can see here, my base, my wire is holding this together. So you think it's the greens, but it's not. And then the next step is to make sure you have one green piece, either this fern-like piece, which was really pretty, that goes around the head, that can go around the whole halo. I did again, more of like an ivy looking vine here. And then this is really pretty. I'm gonna wind this in as well. And we're really going to kind of wrap that around the wire as we go. So what I did to kind of secure this, you can see the 2 ends sticking up here, is to kind of just wrap around this wiring. So let me show you with this piece here. So here's this longer piece, and I'm gonna tuck it into the wire like this, pull it through, kind of like sewing, if you will. And then I'm just gonna kind of give it some extra fluffing. So I'm gonna sew it in and sew it out. Here we go. And that made it a lot shorter, so I definitely suggest having a couple of these longer pieces. And I'm gonna tuck that end piece in like that. So you see how that comes a little bit more full. Here's another piece that I got, so I'm going to sew it again. So tucking through into the wire, looping it again. Look how lush that's looking. So again, you can kind of see it on my head. Oh my God, I'm loving it. Go ahead and wrap it up. So see these pieces hanging at the end? We're going to kind of crisscross them. I'm gonna again cut some wire. This wire is great. A couple inches there. So we're gonna identify where our ends are, the ones that are sticking up here. We're gonna tuck them kind of like overlap like that so it's flat. And then I'm just gonna kind of tie it. So here I am wrapping around the ends here. And just kind of, what's great about this wire is just wind it down and it stays. So she's not gonna be running in this, so she doesn't necessarily have to have it tied, glued down. So great. So look, those ends are now down. And again, since we had that wire base, we can really shape this to heads later on. So I'm loving that. The next thing you're going to do is going to go ahead and grab some really pretty blooms. So you can see I have different varying blooms here. Just want to show you the coloring that I have going on. So we have this really pretty peach. It's like kind of a whiter blush. This, I'm loving that. That's going to give a lot of great fluff. So to kind of just like little clusters, so we're going to make a couple different clusters so we can put flower clusters all the way around. If you want just one floral side, then I would suggest doing just one larger cluster and having a center flower. This is a great center flower. Peony is a great center flower. In this case, I'm going to, take this small one, kind of, build that different texture. See how I'm just kind of pulling them together like this. And then look, a little bit of bloom. And again, we're going to cut it to get 2 to 3 inches from the neck here to kind of make sure it can be tucked in and not poking in the head. And then we're going to wrap it with that clear duct tape. So I'm going to wrap this nice and secure so that they're not kind of falling all over the place. I'm going to trim the ends. There we go. Perfect. So we have, a couple of these I pre-made. another two before you guys got here. So we have, look right here, so like that's gonna look really good. So then we're gonna kind of tuck them in as we go. Again, you might have to trim your stems a little bit, that's totally fine. So, you know, keeping in mind that I had told you before that I had done like loop that wire 3 times around my head to give me some extra filling space. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna tuck it into one of my loops here. And I'm gonna kind of make sure that that's lining up. So I'm gonna lay it kind of laying down so that it looks like they're all kind of blooming out. So they're tucked back there. They're gonna feel a little bit heavy. So let me just go ahead and get some more wire because we're gonna wanna wrap that again. And I'm gonna kind of sew it through again and wrap my way around this. One thing I do recommend after kind of seeing how the wrapping is pulling down some of my vine work is to keep an extra vine for after the fact so that you can kind of fluff it back up if you need. Another big thing to think about is your flowers. Since you're using fresh flowers, they're not necessarily going to stay super fresh if you do it a couple of days ahead of time. So again, the shoot's this afternoon. I'm going ahead and build it. We'll see, you know, we'll time this out and kind of see what we're at. So there's our first kind of bud. So loving that. If you feel like that's too much, you know, maybe enhance on that side and do one greenery on one side. You can really play with this. That's the beauty of it. It really gives you a lot of flexibility. And then let's go ahead and do our other one. I do love kind of building it. So we're gonna kind of have and sew it through. So I'm gonna try tying it this time, see if that doesn't make it so flat on the vines. So what I love about these vlogs is that we're trying new things that, you know, the common bride can be working on, a lot of DIY moments. There are definitely things that you're gonna want your professional to be doing. I definitely don't recommend building your bouquets on your day of, but in terms of flower crowns, maybe for the guests, or if you want to have a flower crown station, or for your rehearsal dinner, this would be really fun. So you can kind of see how those are nice and secured, but see how that kind of went down there. We'll add some more fluffing in. You might even play with like a one-off bloom in there. So you can see I'm tucking in to my existing wire trio. Just want to make sure it's tucked into your wire there. So I'm going to kind of wind this through. Here's my wire. I'm going to go ahead and tie this. See how I'm tying that down? See that? And then I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap that, okay? Okay, let's try this on. I'm going to show you how this is kind of looking. Oh, okay, great. So if I want it in the front, I can do that. Okay, so I'm seeing a gap here, seeing a gap. It looks like I can do another filler bloom, or I can kind of rotate it and do another filler bloom like that. But I mean, I'm feeling pretty flower crowny right now, so this is great. So I'm gonna tuck another bloom in right over here, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I'm gonna just gently tuck that in, wrap it again, and then we'll add a little bit more filler, and then voila, you have your DIY crown from some leftover wedding flowers. So again, I have this beautiful kind of rose. I wanna go ahead and trim that stem. I'm gonna tuck it in to give me a little bit of filling here. It looks like I had a little leftover wire, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that in there. So see, this is a great kind of fun summer activity, even if you did it with your kids. Girls would love this little fairy crown accent. Here's a smaller kind of piece, and we can kind of just kind of fluff this up if we want. I'll kind of wind it in. But yeah, so I'm gonna refluff and then I'll share it, but love.